Tony.
Hey Coleman, you want to take the caller now? We'll take it after the break, huh? So we'll take the call after the break, Sam. So let's go to a brief timeout. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Wants to be in that number when the sun refuses to shine.
There we go.
The saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in, I'm going to sing.
Can go.
I think Devon Gottschalk is a difference maker for this defensive line.
Sure feels like it. We finally got a space eater.
The more I watch training camp and the more I watch Devon Gottschalk, the more I feel.
All right. And after Sam, we have Phil in Diamond Head, who wants to talk about Tom Benson and post-Katrina.
Who eats space and can't be moved and is just strong.
Follow Inside Black and Gold on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you underestimate your tax liability or receive tax notices from the IRS? Don't let your situation get out of control. Call Go Tax Resolution, your local tax professionals, to help you or your clients get back on track. 985-722-1040. That's 985-722-1040. Or reach out to us at gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Hi, this is Sam with Go Tax Resolution. Are you overwhelmed with tax notices and don't know where to turn? Well, Go Tax Resolution has former IRS agents that specialize in tax and will find the best solution for you. Give Go Tax Resolution a call today to schedule your consultation and make this the year to take back control. That's 985-722-1040 or visit us at gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Lunch was great. Magazine Street is such a fun spot.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
If you have unpaid tickets in New Orleans, time is running out. Through August 31st, the City of New Orleans is waiving all late fees on past due parking and camera tickets. Just pay the original amount, no added charges. Visit NOLA.gov/no late fees to check your balance. You can pay in full or choose interest-free monthly payments. But hurry, late fees return September 1st, and unpaid tickets could mean your car gets booted, towed, or sent to collections. Don't wait. Go to NOLA.gov/no late fees and clear up those unpaid tickets today.
Educating students since 1921, Delgado Community College offers programs in business, technology, health sciences, and the arts. Our career-focused degrees and certificates are affordable, flexible, and transferable. Whether you're starting your post-high school education or want to advance or change your career, Delgado has something for you. Step closer to being unstoppable at Delgado Community College. Visit dcc.edu to learn more today.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Back to all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Stream WWL and the shows you love on Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Or join us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Hard to believe that was 19 years ago when they reopened the film. Hard to believe it was 20 years ago this month, Hurricane Katrina. Man, time goes by quick. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Sam in Slidell. He has a judgment against the city. Hey, Sam, you're on All Things Legal. What can we do for you, brother?
Well, tell me, the city was talking about putting a bond out to help pay some of the judgment off they got against them. Can you tell me when they're going to be?
Okay. Why don't you, let's back up a little bit. You want to know when there's a bond for?
No, I want to know if they were talking about getting a bond out or get it voted on, get some money to pay the judgment off.
Oh, there's a bond issue in the election. To get, is that, now I don't know, Albert, you know anything about that?
Well, I mean, I think if it's up, there's a lot of times the cities and municipalities and on the west states, municipalities, federal government. When you get a judgment individual or corporation or some other
I'm trying to get a better
public, then you can execute a judgment, meaning have the sheriff seize and sell. You can have the sheriff seize and sell the property. You can't do that against the state or municipality. New Orleans, for instance, just recently allocated a bunch of funds to pay off old judgments. And that's when I tell people, oh, let's sue the city. I'm like, you can sue the city, but you may not get money for 10 years. You might have to reinscribe before you get any money. So, eventually, it will get paid as history tells us. So, unfortunately, I think you're just going to have to hope and pray that, the judgment is paid for, that the bond issue goes through, and that they start issuing judgments to people that they owe money to.
Well, I know in New Orleans, what they have done in the past over the course of 30, 35 years is they'll let people know who have judgments. We have judgments, but we'll pay you 20 cents on the dollar if you release us 100%, or they will, or they'll say, well, you just continue to wait, and maybe one day you'll collect it, and maybe one day you won't. As a policy, we never take cases against the city of New Orleans because you can never know when you're going to collect. And there's cases that are 30, 40 years old. The firemen on their pension fund took 30 years for that to happen. And it's just some cities or parishes are fiscally responsible, and if there's a judgment, they'll pay it, and they'll pay it like any other debtor. But when you have the city of New Orleans, if you get a judgment, you may never be paid on it in your entire lifetime, and that's what they do a lot of times. Like if you have a case against the Sewage and Water Board, there's hundreds of judgments against them, and they've had all kinds of litigation trying to get them to pay, and they say we're not going to pay.
Sewage and Water Board's a little different. They actually have insurance policies, they'll have some insurance that can pick it up. But problem is that the Sewage and Water Board sometimes has a self-insured retention where they will pay the first part of the judgment. And sometimes that self-insured retention is within your judgment, and so they do it or pay it at their leisure, right?
Well, I know for a fact there's a couple hundred judgments that haven't been satisfied.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
On the work that was done, and they basically say, they'll
Get
say,
in line.
get in line, or you take 10 or 15 cents on the dollar, or you can maybe collect it in your lifetime. So just another wonderful benefit of the efficient administration of the city of New Orleans. But yeah, that's tough. All right, who's on the line next? Coleman.
Bill.
Bill. Phil. Okay, hey Phil, you and All Things Legal. What can we do for you, brother?
They basically say, get by.
Phil.
They
Phil, is he gone?
be collected.
Yeah, turn your radio off or down.
All right, let's
Hello.
All right, let's move on.
We'll
from
come back.
Phil. He can call back if he wants to talk. But yeah, if you could talk a little bit about also when you have you'd alluded to this before, but if you could tell the big difference between getting a judgment against a private entity versus the city, and why one may be collectible involuntarily, and why against a city or municipality it may not.
All right, we got Phil back.
Listen, if judgments are an interesting thing. Whenever I handle a case for someone, from the plaintiff's perspective, there are three things that we have to deal with, right? Liability, making sure that the defendant is liable for whatever your breach of contract or personal injury or whatever the issue is. The second thing is damages. You've got to prove your damages. And so, some people are like, well, I'm not getting copies of all my checks. Well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to prove what you're trying to prove. And one of the best way to do that is to say, hey, here are copies of all my checks paid to, XYZ company to prove that I suffered this loss and these are my damages. And then the third thing I always tell my clients is collectability. Okay, let's say you go through all this and you pay us, and we spent money on attorney's fees, and even if there's an attorney's fee provision in the contract, you get to the point where you get a judgment. They run it up the Court of Appeals. It's a final judgment. Now all of a sudden you got to try to collect it from that defendant, unless of course there's an insurance. But you know what we learned that how many times in IDA that even with insurance, it may not be collectible if they're not an admitted company, or then it goes over to the Guarantee Association if there is insurance, which has whole different rules. There's something called executory process where you essentially execute on that judgment. And so once the legal delays for appeals and everything have run, the first step is typically to file what's called a judgment debtor examination, a judgment debtor rule. And it's a rule to show cause. You bring that defendant into court and you ask the judge to make that person bring, a person, company, whatever, all of their business records, everything. And then you can examine those records to see what assets they have, what assets maybe are unencumbered that don't have any mortgages or privileges on them, or UCC filings, things like that. And then if you find something in those documents, or if those documents lead you to other places to look, you can have the sheriff seize and sell those documents. Seize and sell those assets. And, it's a process, and it's not a cheap process. And look, I got a situation right now where somebody owed somebody a large sum of money, and they offered some money, not the full amount. And honestly, my recommendation was to take it, because if that person files personal bankruptcy, then you run the risk of really getting nothing or getting pennies on the dollar for what you could have had the bird in the hand. So then it's up to the client to say, no, I'm going to take my chances, or okay, yeah, I'll take this money and get it and be done and have closure and eat my losses, lick my wounds, and move on. So it's totally up to the client, whatever the client wants to do, but it's up to us as attorneys to advise them as to what the possible outcomes might be, and specifically, some sort of bankruptcy. All right, we have
let's go to Phil.
client back on line.
We've got Phil back from Diamond Head. He's got some comments about post-Katrina and Tom Benson. Hey, Phil, you and All Things Legal. What you got for us, brother?
All right, first thing is I want to thank y'all again. About 20 years ago, I called y'all up. I had a block on my driver's license. We talked about it, and y'all said I was right. Y'all said, you've got time, fight it. I fought it, and I won. So I want to thank y'all again. But this is what I called to ask.
Do you remember that call?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I called, because I barely heard the end of what y'all was talking about. With Tom Benson, I think, wanting to leave New Orleans after Katrina.
Yeah, that was in the very first segment. Yeah.
Yeah. And I read an article years ago why the Saints stayed in New Orleans. Kathleen Blanco, I think it was Paul Tagliabue, was the commissioner at the time.
Right.
She got him down here, and she brought him to the Superdome. She says, if you let him leave this city will never come back. And Paul Tagliabue told Benson, you ain't leaving. You staying here. So I don't know if y'all mentioned that.
Well, no, he was very instrumental in keeping the Saints here.
So to the little correction on that story. So Dave Dixon, who was one of the primary players in getting the Saints here in 1967.
And I senators also.
Yeah.
Al Boggs and Russell Long, them guys too.
But he was kind of the brainchild behind it. Well, I sort of befriended him later in his life, and he told me the story about. He said he and Tom did not get along very well. He was not a big fan of Tom's, and he said that one of the reasons was because of this whole move to San Antonio thing. And he said he got on a plane, flew up to see Paul Tagliabue, and you said, look, you remember, the whole Hale Boggs and this, and everything that happened with the Saints in 1967. New Orleans is why the NFL exists, because of the antitrust lawsuit and everything else. And so the Senate passed it based upon his final vote. We got a team here. We're part of the NFL. You can't do this to this city. And Paul Tagliabue agreed, talked to the other owners, and I'm not sure how Kathleen Blanco got credit for that. I'm sure she probably weighed in on it too.
She did. I read the article about it. She definitely did. She had Tagliabue come to New Orleans. She had him come to New Orleans and brought him to the Dome. She said, look at this mess. She says, if you pull that team from here, this city's not coming back. Because she had a meeting with Tagliabue over it. But, I didn't know if y'all mentioned that, because like I said, I caught the very end.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
actually,
thank God.
Thank God. Commissioner
Tagliabue who that?
Intervened. Yeah, who that? All right, Phil. Thanks.
Who that? No, thank y'all, man. Thank y'all so much.
Thanks for the call.
Y'all do a good public service. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Well, actually, before, what had happened historically was Mike Foster was governor. And that's when they were starting with the subsidies. And Mike Foster knew nothing about football around 2000s, and really didn't know anything about football, and he could care less. But he studied the Saints, and he understood the economic impact the Saints had on the city and on the state. So what he actually did was paid out a subsidy to the Saints for staying here. Now, he got a little blowback because they were using taxpayer money to pay out the subsidy. So then Governor Blanco became governor, and I know this for a fact. Tom Benson and Governor Blanco did not see the eye to eye on the issues, and she just had a different philosophy for the Saints, which was not as welcoming to the Saints. I don't think she understood the impact.
Not as financially,
And so they were at odds. And actually, the Saints in 2004 got a viable offer to move to Toronto, which at the time there was some consideration on selling out to Toronto. And then you had Hurricane Katrina come. And so I think a couple of things that was stopping the Saints from moving was Paul Tagliabue, but also the Cowboys and the Oilers. or the Texans, saying we don't want another team in Texas so close that we're good with having two teams here, and there would be a little more competition. So that was the other factor. But this is my opinion, in knowing sort of situation. I think Mr. Benson had his largest asset, and he didn't think it was viable in New Orleans, and so therefore he was looking to move it to San Antonio. And he did get backing from the NFL. He also got they realized they could redo the Superdome with FEMA funds, and it worked out. Just the process was very ugly, and it worked out in the end. So let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
It's time for the city to gather inside the Superdome to show the boys that we are really behind the cause.
It's WWL, the big 870 AM, 105.3 FM, and WWL.com. Live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Listen to our time-shifted podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Previously on Scoot on the Air.
I do not believe that Mamdani is the future of the Democratic Party.
Outside of the 5 boroughs, that guy's going nowhere.
Yeah, totally agree. So it's sort of irrelevant.
If you have watched Wayne's World, we have already had socialist mayors in this country. Milwaukee had 3 of them as recently as 1960.
I don't think that's the future of this country right now. That could change with future generations, but right now I don't see that as a big change.
Don't miss the next Scoot on the Air. Weekdays, 1 to 4 p.m. on WWL.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Steve St. Pierre, owner of Air Care, that's Air Care with a K. My cell phone number is on my business card for a reason, because I answer my phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Listen, we live in South Louisiana. It's June right now. We're in the 90s, high 70s overnight. It's hot. There's no reason that someone should sleep hot. My father used to tell me that all the time. There's no reason somebody should sleep hot. If you can fix the thing, fix it.
Visit aircarellc.com. That's aircare, K-A-R-E, LLC.com.
My name is Hugh Lambert, nicknamed Skip. The Lambert firm in New Orleans want to thank all the offshore workers, seamen, longshoremen, and crew members of the oil and gas and shipping industries that keep Louisiana moving forward. And for over 40 years, I've helped maritime workers understand the law so that they can make informed decisions, and I fight for their rights. If you work on or near the water and want to speak to an experienced maritime lawyer, look us up at lambertzany.com. Consultations are free and confidential. Stay safe out there.
LA 18-0969.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products or compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
It's all things legal on WWL and streaming live on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Doug Sunseri or Albert Nicaud, call their office at 504-837-1304. Or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers, all things legal. We're talking a little bit about enforcement of judgments, and we get calls sometimes from landlords saying, "Hey, I had a tenant. He trashed my my rental property. I want to sue for the damage. Should I proceed or not?" And if you could talk a little bit about how you can enforce a judgment and why maybe some people or some creditors decide not to pursue it because of uncollectability.
Well, and that's the issue, right? If some people don't care, or they have plenty of money, I don't care. I'm gonna make this tenant's life miserable. They screwed up my apartment, and I want to go after them and cost them a bunch of money or whatever. The reality of it is, if they can't pay your rent, they probably don't have any money to pay your judgment, right? But I've seen over and over and over again, tenants get angry with the landlord and intentionally damage the property. Pour cement down the drains and smash walls and do everything else. And again, I think some of it has to do with the fact that they know they're pretty much judgment proof. That, hey, look, they're not gonna come after me, and I'm gonna take it out of them. Take it out on them and make their lives miserable. And so, some of the tenants are like, look, let's just go get a judgment, and we'll record the judgment. And that way, if that person ever comes into any money, any whatever one day, or if, their lives change and they all of a sudden have a good job that you can go after them and maybe garnish their wages or something like that, then, I'll collect my money one day plus interest. So it's a financial decision, right? Do you want to go spend the time, money, effort to get that, get that judgment? And if not, sometimes it's just, look, spend the money, fix your place up, and move on. You know, depending on what parish you might be in, if it's criminal destruction of property, the municipality may care or they may not care. Sorry, you know, we'll just write up a report, but we're not going to refer this to the DA's office because, you know, we're letting crack dealers out on the street. So, you know, we're certainly not going to care about somebody who damaged an apartment because we don't have time for that. So, but, you know, depending if you're one of these little country parishes or whatever, they're going to take it very seriously because they don't have it on their, you know, a huge criminal docket. So all that factors into, you know, how do you want to handle it?
Now, we got about a minute or two before we go to break. What are some of the methods you can collect on a judgment? How do you do that?
Well, again, you can garnish wages, you can garnish bank accounts, you can, if there's any real estate, you know, you first of all, of course, look to see if it is encumbered, meaning is there a mortgage on the property? And so, you know, if there's a mortgage on the property, then that mortgage company is going to be the first party paid because they've got the most secured interest. So it's a bunch of law, you know, called ranking of privileges and all that kind of thing. And so a privilege is a right that you might have against someone's property specifically. And so, you know, that's a secured creditor. They've got a mortgage. They are there first, so they're going to get paid every penny first. So the question is, if you've got a $300,000 mortgage on a property and a $400,000 judgment, by the time the property's seized, sold, you paid all the costs, you might not get anything because if it doesn't sell for, you know, the full amount, it's going to sell for less. The mortgage company is going to get paid its money. The sheriff's going to get its fees. The lawyer's going to get his fees. And now you're just kind of stuck, you know, holding a valid judgment and the property sold, but you're really not collecting anything. So all that stuff kind of needs to factor into your decision to move forward. And then look, at the end of the day, I got a, you know, $180,000 judgment against a contractor across the lake a few years back. And we went to go enforce the judgment, file the judgment debtor rule. And the morning before, they filed bankruptcy. And so, you know, we were just kind of stuck. And, you know, the woman was crushed. It was like, oh, now what? And, you know, the guy was kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul and didn't have the assets. And I felt terrible for the lady. I mean, she was right. We were successful. We got a great judgment. And then, you know, contractor says, you know, oh, well.
We're going down.
So,
yeah, we're going down.
Yep.
All right, let's take a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone free. Download the Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Steve Geller. Listen when you want, how you want. Or tell your smart speaker, play WWL. Breaking news about the Saints, Pelicans, and LSU on WWL is powered by BetMGM. Smarter bets start with BetMGM. Download.
Yeah, okay, great.
BetMGM.com today. WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier.
A little over 2 minutes. We'll just
2 minutes. Yeah, we'll go in and out.
Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
Summer is here, and it's time to plan your style staycation with Bob's Discount Furniture, where you can find everyday low prices on the hottest styles. The comfiest Consumer Reports recommended mattresses, fast, friendly delivery, and flexible financing to fit your budget. Go to mybobs.com for details. So stock up and score everyday low prices, delivered on time all summer long at your nearest store or at mybobs.com.
Oh, my Bob! Bob's Discount Furniture.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really...
Feel free to take up as much of that 2 minutes as you need. You don't have to.
I'm gonna
Call
do
me
a
and I'll
promo
send you
for
our
firm
timeshare exit kit absolutely free.
game.
Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-311-9595. That's 800-311-9595.
Feeling tired, stressed, not quite yourself? Could be low testosterone affecting your energy, mood, and even drive. Kronos Body Health and Wellness specializes in hormone replacement therapy with a personalized approach to boost energy, strength, and vitality. You'll experience improved mood, increased muscle mass, better focus, and performance. Let Dr. Scott work with you to create a custom plan for your needs, restoring balance so you feel strong and productive again. Don't wait. Visit KronosBHW.com or call to take the first step today. CHRONOSBHW.com.
Newell here. You've heard me talk about Vaca Steakhouse. It's in the old Peppermill, same space, reimagined as a great steakhouse, proudly serving Maryland with heart, flavor, and unforgettable hospitality. At Vaca, it's more than just steak. It's exceptional service and a dining experience you'll keep coming back for. So whether it's a special night out, a corporate dinner, Friday lunch, or Sunday brunch, support local, dine at Vaca. You will not be disappointed. Vaca, a great steakhouse.
Experience luxury redefined at the all-new Genesis of New Orleans, now open. With a large selection of new Genesis models, you'll find the one that fits your style and needs. Enjoy complimentary maintenance for 3 years or 36,000 miles, plus available pickup and delivery. From sales to service, everything is designed around your comfort and convenience. Stop by and say hi at Genesis of New Orleans on Power Boulevard at the corner of Veterans. Luxury evolved.
Do you have trouble with your roof? Ignore the door knockers and do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing. Former LSU star Ryan Terrio and his team helped me, and they can help you. Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com.
Reliable high-speed fiber internet with a 90-day guarantee. Let's rev.biz.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary, and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Summer is here, and it's time to plan your style staycation with Bob's Discount Furniture, where you can find everyday low prices on the hottest styles. The comfiest Consumer Reports recommended mattresses. Fast, friendly.
Back in about 10 seconds. I'm not going to play a rejoin.
Your budget? Go to mybobs.com for details. So stock up and score everyday low prices, delivered on time all summer long at your nearest store or at mybobs.com.
Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Hey, we're back. Coleman doing a great job getting us in the New Orleans Saints mood here. You can call a firm if you have any questions at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304. Stay tuned to WWL all day. We're going to have Rene Nadeau at 10:25 to preview the Saints game on our show. Then they're going to have Countdown to Kickoff with Steve Geller and Charlie Long at 11 o'clock. Or First Take with at 11 o'clock with Steve Geller and Charlie Long. Countdown to Kickoff with Bobby Hebert at 1 o'clock. And our good friend Mike Haas and Deuce McAllister will be play-by-play in color at 3:05 with the Saints against the Los Angeles Chargers. So y'all stay tuned. And we're going to be on for 3 hours today. So we're going to be on until 11 o'clock, so stay tuned. And I think, Albert, what I'm going to ask you on the other side of the hour is a little bit about justice of the peace and, if you have a small claim, how you could maybe pursue a claim. If you have a consumer claim, you have a bad computer or you have a landlord who wants to collect on some damage, but it's not enough to really hire an attorney. We'll talk a little bit about that, how to use the Justice of Peace Court. So we'll be back for hour number 2 on all things legal. So stay tuned. We've got national news, got local news. We'll be back in about 10 minutes on all things legal. So see you then.
Be the first to know. Stay connected to the news, talk, and sports leader. The Big 870 WWL, 105.3 WWL FM, and WWL.com. The Big 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, an Odyssey station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Stacey Lynn. How federal officials responded after the tragic shooting Friday at the CDC headquarters in Atlanta is getting reaction. Dr. Jerome Adams was Surgeon General during President Trump's first term. He told Face the Nation he blames Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for the inadequate response.
It took him over 18 hours to issue a tepid response to these horrific shootings. And that's not even considering how his inflammatory rhetoric in the past has actually contributed to a lot of what's been going on.
Police say the suspected gunman believed he was sick as a result of the COVID vaccine. Meanwhile, Kennedy announced this week he's cutting nearly $500 million in funding to develop vaccines using mRNA technology. Adams says
people are going to die because we're cutting short funding for this technology.
The full interview can be heard on today's Face the Nation on CBS. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says his plan to take over Gaza City is, quote, the best way to end the war. The BBC's John Donison tells us the UN Security Council will meet today to discuss the potential for diplomacy instead.
In the coming days and weeks, you're going to see a renewed push for diplomacy because this plan that Prime Minister Netanyahu has authorized, his government has authorized to conquer Gaza City and possibly take full control of the Gaza Strip. Well, it's not really going to come into effect for 2 months. The optimists are saying this is a way of putting pressure on Hamas. Will Hamas make greater concessions? We've got the Egyptians, the Qataris, who've been mediating these talks for months now, apparently coming forward with a new deal.
President Trump and President Putin will meet in Alaska Friday. CBS's Willie James Inman on what the Russian leader is proposing as a path to peace with Ukraine.
Putin wants all the Ukrainian land captured in its invasion and then some. Zelensky rejected that, warning we will not give Russia awards for what it has done. This weekend, Vice President J.D. Vance met in Kent, England, with UK, European, and Ukrainian officials to discuss a path forward.
It was a violent Saturday night near Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore.
On arrival, they located 6 victims, 4 males, 2 females. One of the female victims was a 5-year-old child who was shot in the hand. Thankfully, it doesn't appear that her injury is very serious. One of the males was shot and critical.
That's Police Commissioner Richard Worley. No suspects are in custody. Gunfire on Chicago's west side as well. 1 person was killed and 5 injured. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL.
Expect a great Sunday. We'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds. It'll be hot and humid with high temperatures in the lower 90s this afternoon. Plan for a few hit or miss showers and thunderstorms today.
WWL TV meteorologist Alexa Trischler. Ready for some football? We have exhibition play for the Saints today.
It's a new era under head coach Kellen Moore, who will be looking to get things started on the right foot. We'll be keeping a close eye on the quarterback battle and how the rookie class performs in their first real taste of NFL action. Coach Moore announced that Spencer Rattler will be the starting quarterback in today's game.
WWL TV's Lily Cummings. The game kicks off at 3 o'clock this afternoon right here on WWL. Join us for pregame action starting at 1 p.m. Overnight violence in New Orleans Central City. One woman's dead and another in the hospital after gunfire on Magnolia Street around midnight. NOPD did not release any details on who may have shot the women nor why. NOLA.com has published new information about failing locks at the New Orleans jail in the days before 10 inmates escaped earlier this year. The report shows the doors and locks on holding cells across the facility were failing so frequently that maintenance workers were scrambling to fix them at a rate of about twice a day, finding things like Scrabble tiles and other junk stuffed in the locks. One inmate, a convicted killer, remains at large.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. Saints football is back this afternoon with the Black and Gold's preseason opener at the Chargers. Among the many position battles to keep an eye on is New Orleans' running back room. Saints head coach Kellen Moore said veteran back Alvin Kamara will not be playing today, but he said the team is looking to carry 3 or 4 backs on their final 53-man roster, including Kamara. So 6 other players are looking to fill those 2 or 3 spots, and WWL's Deuce McAllister broke down that competition.
Opportunity. That's what you have. I mean, I think you're looking to say, hey, I need a guy that we can depend on, week in and week out. When you talk about Kendrick, he's been on this roster. He's flashed potential, but the injuries have gotten him. Can he stay healthy? Can he be the number 2 guy for Clyde? It's just a new system. Can you kind of show us something here? Does one of the young guys want to step into it, or one of the veteran guys want to be able to really take hold of that number 2 spot behind Alvin?
Deuce also explained what he wants to see from those backs today.
Can you pick up the blitz? Can you pick up the guy if he's yours? If he's not, can you help protect the quarterback? Do you know what you're doing? I mean, and so you would love to have +4, +5 runs on average from those backs. You've got to take care of the football. But, for me, can you protect the quarterback? And so what you do on special teams will matter as well, whether it's going down the field, making a tackle, or whether it's being explosive, returning a kick and or a punt if they put me back there. So, those are all aspects of making this team. And so I'm looking forward to see those guys having that opportunity.
Kickoff between the Saints and Chargers from SoFi Stadium is today at 3 p.m. And the countdown to kickoff featuring Bobby Hebert and Steve Geller starts at 1 p.m. right here on the home of the Saints, WWL. Charlie Long, WWL Sports.
Now, the Serve Pro Cleanup, Restoration, and Construction forecast on WWL.
Happy Sunday, everyone. It's going to be a beautiful summer day. It'll be hot and humid with partly cloudy skies. High temperatures will climb to the low 90s this afternoon, and we'll see a few hit-or-miss showers and storms today. For the new work week, it'll be hot and humid, of course, with high temperatures near 90 degrees early in the week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll see some more moisture coming our way, which could bring us some more rain early in the week, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll watch for some heavier downpours possible. Later in the week will be a bit drier and hotter with high temperatures in the mid-90s late this week. From WWL Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Alexa Trischler.
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Seamson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you, here's Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. We're going to be on for 3 hours today. All things legal. We'll be leading into the Saints pregame coverage. First take with Steve Geller and Charlie Long at 11. So we'll be on until 11 o'clock. Oh, and we did you see yesterday? It's preseason football. Do you watch preseason games on the NFL Network, or you
if I'm home, if I'm home, and I'll kind of make it a point to watch the Saints because like I always say, I'm a fan of Saints preseason football because everybody's out there trying to make the team and they're giving it all they got. This is their dream and their future and their career, and I like seeing the effort, and you see some guys screw it up and some guys really shine, and it's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I did not watch yesterday.
Well, a couple of things happened in the past couple of days. It's interesting. First of all, there was a 70-yard field goal by Cam Little of Jacksonville Jaguars.
I heard about that.
And if you think about that, the line of scrimmage would have been at the 47-yard line of Jacksonville. So all you had to do is get to the 47-yard line, and the ball was placed at your own 40-yard line. So if he misses the kick, the other team would have gotten the ball at their at Jacksonville's 40-yard line. So and that kick actually had maybe 2-3 yards to spare. It wasn't the Tom Dempsey kick that made it by a quarter of an inch. This thing had more to go. So that was interesting. And here is every quarterback that was drafted this year: Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, on down the line. They're going to be compared to Shedeur Sanders and all the teams that passed him up. Well, it'll be part of the lore for the next 10 or 15 years as to the progression of these quarterbacks. But Shedeur Sanders had a pretty good debut for a preseason game. And it's preseason, which they play base defenses. There's not a lot of nuance to it. But, there's a lot of quarterbacks who come out in their first preseason game, rookies who don't do so well. But
so remind me, where is Shedeur Sanders?
He's at Cleveland. He's at Cleveland. He was a 5th round draft pick. So you had basically all the teams that need quarterbacks that passed Shedeur Sanders, and he was a 5th round pick. So he had really if you give a grade A- for his debut, it was very just very efficient and did a good job. But it's preseason, so we're not. You can see a little bit, but I think it'll be interesting as you see the progression of Shuck, you see the progression of Cam Ward, you see the progression of Jackson Dart, you see the progression of some of the other quarterbacks that who are picked this year. They're always going to be compared to Shedeur Sanders. And if Shedeur Sanders becomes an All-Pro, they will have a lot of, second guessing done by.
Well, you know what? This is a little different. This is an attitude thing, and I think a lot of teams passed on Shedeur Sanders not because of his skill, or his pedigree or any of that. I think they passed on him because of his attitude, and they didn't want some media circus, surrounding this rookie quarterback, and so. They wanted somebody coachable. They wanted somebody that, and so I think it's different than the Tom Brady, or somebody who drafted very late, who became an All-Pro, or best quarterback ever, actually. But, but I agree. Yeah. People are like kicking themselves. Gee whiz, we probably should have,
well, I'm not saying they shouldn't have passed. I'm just saying that they will, because a 5th round pick is basically a throwaway pick. I mean, you got a 50-50 shot that the player might even make the team. There's a 50-50 shot that he's not going to be in the league 3 years from now. So it's not a high risk pick. I agree to pick Shedeur in the 1st round would have been very high risk, or the 2nd or 3rd round. A higher risk, but at the 5th round.
You know what though? I think the fact that he thought he was going 1st round and that he went 5th might have been just what he needed.
That's what this
might
next
have
thing I was
humbled
about
him.
to say. That's the next thing I'm about to say.
Yeah, they might have humbled him, might have brought him back down to earth. Said, "Hey, look, I better get out there and perform and shut up." And Cleveland could have a winner there that late, but if he's picked in the 1st round, he's going to believe his own headlines. And, what was he? I think he was 13-12 at Colorado, and they almost won the Alamo Bowl. So I don't, he didn't set the world on fire there, but, made it exciting. And that's what Cleveland needs. Cleveland needs, some excitement, I think, because they've,
Well, I remember about 8 years
they've
ago.
struggled.
I remember about 8 years ago when they used Johnny Manziel as a 1st round pick. I said, I think we said on the show, whoever the general manager who picked Johnny Manziel is going to be fired, which he was, because that just didn't work out.
Yeah, same way, same thing. He had that attitude, that devil may care, that same backgrounds financially, right? Here's Shador, Sandra's kid, Dion's kid. So he's financially comfortable. He doesn't have to do this to survive one day. And Menzel came from that background too. So he kind of had that chip. And listen, as a quarterback, I want somebody to have that attitude that I'm the best. Give me the ball. Shut up in my huddle, right? But there's a limit, right? There's a line where they cross, and certainly Shador crossed it over and over and over again.
And so it begs the question: in 1979 at St. Paul's, is that the way you ran your huddle when you were a quarterback? Shut up.
Yeah, shut up. But you know what? You know who did that? Was McMahon. I forget who got hurt. McMahon came in, and they were talking in the huddle, everything else, and he looked at him and said, "Shut up, this is my huddle." Right. And I forget who they interviewed, but basically it was one of the offensive linemen. And he said, "I knew he was in control. I knew we had a winner on our hands. Y'all shut up. This is my huddle. I'll call the signals." And that's how it's got to be. I mean, this is your signal caller, and don't come in and tell me, "Look, I'm open. Do this, do that." Just shut up. Let it play out.
That's right. That's right. Well, all right. Well, that was preseason, so if you can watch basically replays of preseason games on the NFL Network 24/7. So I always like to watch the young quarterbacks.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really interested too today in watching Devin Neal, the Kansas running back.
Well, he's hurt. He's hurt.
Yeah,
he's out. He's got a hamstring.
He's the one that he had the ham. Oh, that's
he's
right.
got the hamstring,
okay.
So he's out. So we're going to be seeing Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kendra Miller, and now there's Means. There's a wide receiver running back Means, who's an undrafted free agent, who Renee's going to talk about. And that's one of the questions I'm going to ask Renee to talk about is who are some of the surprises in training camp, who may make the team, make the practice squad, who's unknown and who's flashing. All right, and
how long is Neal out?
He's out hamstring.
He's got a really.
He had the same thing as Mason Timpson last year, so he's going to miss most of training camp. And, but I asked Rene about Neal, and he had said, "Good, not great. Didn't show, just a good running back. Nothing great at this point, but he's hurt."
Well, if he's got a hamstring issue, then
he's
not going to be able to cut and explosion and all that sort of thing.
Before he got injured.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right. One thing I want to talk about was we're talking about judgments, and we get a lot of calls at our office about disputes involving less than $5,000. And, you might have, someone with uninsured motorist coverage might have hit your car. You might have not only liability coverage, have collision, and they got $2,000 to $3,000 of damage, or you have a contractor who didn't finish his work and $2,000 to $3,000 in dispute, or I hadn't been paid by someone.
I'll tell you what we got this week.
Okay, there you go.
Lady called up Brett Goupé in my office, and she said, "Look," she said, "I've got a contractor," and it was a verbal contract. Well, he was Hispanic and barely spoke English, and so she said, "Look, I want to do this, this, and this," and he nodded as if he understood. Well, she comes home from work, and it's like, "Wait, what did you do? He did this instead of this." And she's like, "I need you to, so he gets his girlfriend or whatever to come translate. And she's like, "Oh, no, that's not what you told him. You wanted him to do X, Y, Z." And so I said, "Well, so Brett says, how much were your damages to get it fixed?" He said the whole contract was like $2,300. Mm-hmm. So I think, so he basically referred her to the justice of the peace for the particular area where the property was located, and said, "Look, here's what you have to do. This is what you have to prove. Here's, and take pictures, and here's the evidence you're gonna have." And let me tell you, I think they need to change the law with respect to the justice of the peace.
Okay.
And because you're not required to be an attorney.
Right.
You don't have to be an attorney to be a justice of the peace. And so here you are making legal decisions up to $5,000, which to a lot of people is a lot of money. And so, and so you're just sitting in somebody's living room sometimes, right, in some of these outer areas. We were talking, I'm trying to remember who it was. We were talking about that whole concept. Oh, yeah, a friend of mine, Ron Fay, an Allstate Insurance defense attorney for years. He said that he had some little case for Allstate that he had to go try. They sued Allstate
Justice Peace.
Justice Peace Court. So he's looking for the address. Again, this was before the days of GPS.
Oh,
and
that
all
was
this
me.
stuff, and
That
he
was me
pulls up.
with the mechanic on Canada.
No, this is different. No, he showed up and he said the guy's out there cutting his grass.
Well, okay, yeah.
He said the guy's no shirt on. He's driving his lawnmower, and so he pulls up. The guy comes over. He says, "Yeah, I'm looking for such and such justice of the peace." And so he had to file the answer. And so sure enough, the guy goes, "Oh yeah, that's me." He goes, "Yeah, come on in." He said, "Like I went in his living room. This was like the courtroom." And he said, "Can I get a clocked in copy just to prove that I filed my answer, And he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's a good idea. Let me see if I can make you a copy." So he went over and put it on the machine, and I said, "Can you date it, sign it, something, Yeah, okay, I'll do that for you." But like the guy was, he had no clue. And so I think you should at least have some civil procedure. You should have a law background to be making decisions legally that affect people. I mean, like I said, you get a $5,000 judgment against you, that could set people back pretty far trying to pay that and having to try to defend it and all those sorts of things. And you got a guy or a gal who's got no legal background whatsoever.
Right.
Anyway, but I think they should change that.
But I had a similar experience when I was out of law school about 35 years ago. I was working for Bill Becknell, and he told me to go to Justice of Peace, this before cell phones, on Williams Boulevard. And the address he gave me was a car repair shop. And so I went back to the cell phone and called, to a phone booth or
a payphone,
payphone, and asked them, I had to call back and say, "Hey, you gave me this address. It's a tire shop." He goes, "No, that's the right address." And I said, and so I found a guy who was literally under a car doing some work, and I said, "Are you so and so?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "I'm here for my trial." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he wipes, cleans himself up. We go back to a supply closet with a couple of chairs, and we try the case. So that was, I guess, just a little Louisiana folklore as far as Justice of Peace. But now in Jefferson Parish, we have Judge Cusimano. He's on the 6th or 7th floor at the in the Elmwood, the Yenny building. So
and he was not only an attorney, but he
was a judge. He was a judge. He was a judge.
Right,
so he knows.
Right.
So
exactly.
He runs a tight ship up there, but it's somewhat like the People's Court as far as the interaction is concerned. But we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more. Let's go to a break. Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
And I'm a party like the devil if the Neville brothers play tonight.
Want to win a portable generator? This hurricane season, WWL wants to give you comfort and peace of mind. So we've teamed up with Craig's Electrical and Generator Service to offer you the chance to win a Generac GP 6500 portable generator. Total value, almost $1,000. Starting Monday, go to WWL.com/contest for your chance to win. Backup power from Craig's Electrical and Generator Service. When the power goes off, Craig's comes on with WWL.
Hi, this is Elena with Go Tax Resolution. Do you owe money to the IRS? 170 million tax notices go out each year, and the time for COVID extensions is up. Take back control of your tax situation. Call Go Tax Resolution, your local one-stop answer to help you or your clients get back on track. Call 985-722-1040 or reach out to gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Hi, this is Sam with Go Tax Resolution. Is this the year to solve your tax debt issues? Have you gotten notices from the IRS or state agencies? Put an end to your sleepless nights. Call Go Tax Resolution, your local tax resolution specialist. We work with accounting firms, individuals, and businesses alike. Go Tax Resolution is here to help. call 985-722-1040. That's 985-722-1040. Or reach out to us at gotaxresolution.com. GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Lunch was great. Magazine Street is such a fun spot.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you are allergic to...
We got Robert?
Doctor, if you have
Gotcha.
no symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
FanDuel, because nothing says summer fun like adding excitement to the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Summer sports are calling your name. Baseball under the stadium lights. Golf on pristine green fairways. Soccer matches with world-class goals. And all the action-packed moments in between. You were going to spend all day following your favorite sports on your phone anyway. Might as well make it more thrilling with FanDuel. Open the app today to see the daily promotions. New to FanDuel? New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/ABear to get started. 21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-7867.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Riding on the city of New Orleans.
Back to attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and our time-shifted podcasts on Odyssey, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Coleman's dialing it up on New Orleans today. Who is that? Was that Willie Nelson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's Willie Nelson. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's an Arlo Guthrie song, but it's a Willie Nelson cover.
Yes. So I was talking about. We got a phone call. We got Robert from Metairie, the home of the West Esplanade Canal. He's got a question regarding his school zone ticket. Hey, Robert, you're on All Things Legal. What can you do? What can we do for you?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
I got a school zone ticket, speeding ticket. This was end of April. I'm contesting it, and I have a video call with the judge next month. And I'm reading that the the cameras in school zones should not have been active, and that you're not required to pay any ticket that you got while this dispute was going on. Is that true? And is there anything I need to do?
Well, I don't know whether it's true or not. Would you have a court date, right?
It's a video.
It's a video court date with the judge?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a way that you can talk to the district attorney prior to the hearing? Do they allow that by the videotape? I hadn't been down there for that.
Where was the city? Where was the ticket? In Orleans?
Or is it Jefferson?
Yes, it was.
Oh, Orleans.
No,
okay.
it was in Orleans.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an administrative judge. They just, they do videos so they can prosecute, right? And again, I would try to call up over there ahead of time and just say, hey, look, I got a speeding ticket in this, in a school zone, which if school was not in session at the time, and so your cameras were on. Now, I do know, I heard on the radio, on the television radio that they had turned off the cameras in all areas because there's a dispute, I think, as to what company should have them, and there's a legal proceeding going on. But they left them on in school zones because they thought that it's too important for people not to be speeding in a school zone. So the question is, was school in session, right? The particular school where the violation occurred, and you can maybe check that out. They might have turned them on a week earlier or whatever. But they'll answer those questions for you. You might get the answer before your video trial, I guess.
So the report that people who received a speeding ticket during the dispute with the school board for payments of or percentages of the ticket,
right? The
costs,
revenue, yeah,
the revenue that's received from the school zone cameras. The report that we're not required to pay because they shouldn't have been active in the first place.
Yeah, my understanding was that they allowed the school zone tickets to remain. Now, again, that's probably something you can research. Just pull it up on the. I'm sure there's some stories from WWL and different places that will set you straight on that as to exactly what the edict that came down from the city, the traffic cameras, because and so you'll know just a little bit. You educate yourself a little more before going into this telephone call or this Zoom call.
But you're also suggesting that I make a call anyway, just to chat to see what the status is with them.
Yes.
Yeah, because they might say, "Oh yeah, look, don't worry about it. We'll get it dismissed. Here's my number, all that kind of stuff."
Now.
But I would educate myself ahead of time.
The other thing too is if you do call the office, if you get nowhere with the initial frontline person, ask for their supervisor, because
gotcha.
So because a lot of times, and I've had that in a lot of different contexts, that they try, that maybe the frontline people don't know, or maybe they're just a little overburdened and don't want to deal with it, and they try to get you off the phone. But when you talk to someone who has some authority, they'll do something differently. So if you don't get a good answer,
and hopefully you'll get a live person on the phone.
Yes.
Well, as opposed to a dead person, that's hopefully.
Yeah, right. As opposed to a recording, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good day.
Okay. Thanks so much.
All right. Take care.
All right. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to our most favorite and consistent caller, Monroe and Gentilly. How you doing, Monroe?
There you go.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. I was calling, trying to get some advice on car insurance for my son. I know that there's different ways. I've heard different ways in the past. Something about different addresses matter and different things of that nature. And I was just trying to see what's the best or perhaps cheapest method. I know for a kid, it's not cheap at all. He's only 21.
I was going to ask you how old he is. Okay. Yeah, because that's important, his age. So the vehicle that he is driving, is that his personal vehicle or is it your vehicle?
Well, right now, the vehicle that he's driving is in my name, but he's wanting to, get another vehicle. You know how the kids are. He's working and he wants to pay for another vehicle. and I'm thinking that I'm probably going to have to do it myself. But I was trying to figure out what was the cheapest method of insurance, letting him be on my policy, or because I was told that if he lives at a different address or something like that. So I was just trying to get some clarity.
Well, yeah. So technically, and look, people do it all the time. It doesn't make it right. And, you could get caught up doing it. But basically, you'll have a child that might not live with you, and not a divorce situation where they live with the other custodial parent, but a situation where the child has its own, 25-year-old, 24-year-old. They should be, if you're insuring them, they should be a resident of the household, right? And so if they're going to be under your policy, and they'll be under your policy if the vehicle is titled in your name. What I would do is, who do you you have your vehicle insured with an agency at this point, right? Insurance brokerage.
Oh yeah. I'm with State Farm.
Okay. So I would call that State Farm agent and say, look, here's what I want to do. I want to, my son's going to buy a vehicle. I want to know whether or not it'll be cheaper for me to put the vehicle in my name and also the insurance in my name, or if it's cheaper to, let him just have his own policy. Now, one of the questions might be your limits, right? So if you're a professional and you're the contracting business and you have some assets, et cetera, you probably want a little higher policy limits to protect your assets in the event that you get sued, and for something for a larger amount, so they don't come after you personally. So you might have $50,000-$100,000 in coverage, or maybe even more, and minimum limits are 15 in liability limits. And so, based on the amount of coverage, you might come out a little cheaper if you just let him buy it in his own name and insure the vehicle, or insure his liability for only the minimum limits of $15,000 per person. And so that's just some of the questions you can ask. So go look at your policy before you call your agent, see what your limits are. And if you also have $15,000 limits, then, you're kind of comparing apples to apples. But your agent, that's what they're there for, to guide you and advise you on those things. Now, be prepared, because one of the questions is going to be, is he a resident of the household? And so you have to determine how to answer that. Yeah.
Well, I told him that he is, because on his ID it's with the address.
Yeah. And so, so he's, that's a little more questionable. He's under 25 years old. He's, so it's something more doable. But I do know when my daughter, got out of school and she bought her own house, we transferred everything to her name because I donated the vehicle, et cetera. I just did the same thing with my son. My son is in school in Florida, and, just kind of set up residency over there. And so I donated the vehicle to him, and then he transferred the title and everything to Florida. So the vehicle's garaged in Florida now, and it's substantially cheaper. Of course, I'm paying the premium, but it's a cheaper premium over there. Because he's a Florida resident, and they have many more people to spread that insurance rate out. Plus, we have pretty high rates here in Louisiana.
But it's cheaper if the kid lives with you, from what I understand. That's what he told me, the agent.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then you put him on your policy. But just be careful, in terms of the residency, right? Because you just, you never know. If he gets in a deposition one day and all of a sudden, he says, oh, yeah, I live at this address. I have my own job. I have, I haven't lived at that address in 3 years. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That may happen. I haven't seen it very often. But it's just a risk you take by indicating that he's still living with you when, in fact, he's got his own apartment and he's got his bills going there, et cetera.
Yeah, well, actually, he is still living with me, truthfully.
Yeah. Oh, well, then you're good.
Easy. There you go.
Yeah, that makes it easy.
Okay, so it is cheaper going that route, you're saying?
Well, that's a question for your insurance agent, but it sounds like he told you it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, my man.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much,
take
Monroe.
care.
You have a good day.
All right, go Saints.
Now, Albert, I have to say that Monroe's probably replaced the departed Justin as our number one caller.
Yes, yes, and Monroe doesn't play drums. Just saying.
No, and we don't have we don't have to give Monroe like advice about his love life either. So
or his love life, or the noise that his drum makes in his apartment complex, and his neighbors complaining.
That's right. So,
yeah.
So, but
yeah.
we do miss Justin on Sunday mornings. He is greatly missed.
He was a regular.
He was a regular. He's greatly missed by our show, and so we were so there it is. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks of mail.
All things legal on WWL. Live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios. The bank that cares about you. Listen when you want, how you want on the TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey apps.
Football fans, join Mike Detillier and Steve Geller for Weekend Kickoff, a special edition of Sports Talk, live from Treasure Chest Casino in Kenner. Thursday, come hang out with the guys as we talk about the latest with the home teams, NFL and college football, and get amped up about an exciting season of black and gold and purple and gold football. Meet up with Mike D and Steve G at Treasure Chest Casino by the Game Bar and Grill, Thursday, 4 to 7 p.m. and here on WWL.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Lunch was great. Magazine Street is such a fun spot.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-6...
Is Respring free, or is like there's different levels of what you could do when you get Respring?
About EPI and if Creon could help.
Is Respring like is it a free to use program, or is like
No. It's different levels.
Yes.
We're on
the IRS a lot of money.
Louis
like you could have 5.
We're gonna take your house,
We
put a
can
lien
get
on your
up to
bank
10
account,
platforms.
garnish your pay. They don't take your paycheck.
Louis found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me, they calm me down, they make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louis has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louis.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Educating students since 1921, Delgado Community College offers programs in business, technology, health sciences, and the arts. Our career-focused degrees and certificates are...
All right, on the phone we have
Bobby in St. Bernard.
Your post-high school education.
And his neighbors has a oak tree that he's concerned about, like in case of storms happening.
To being unstoppable at Delgado Community College. Visit dcc.edu to learn more today.
Worked all your life and built an estate to leave to your loved ones. And now it's time to prepare an estate plan. So where do you turn? The last
I said earlier, I had a friend over the weekend told me he was interested in starting a podcast and like a live stream. So
Restream, yeah. Restream.
estate planning attorney to share your intentions, ask questions, and obtain advice. This is Albert Nicaud of the Nicaud and Simpson Law Firm in Metairie. I've been providing clients with estate planning advice and preparing wills and trusts for over 35 years. When you're ready to plan your estate, call me at 504-837-1303.
I was only familiar with Twitch, but that seemed kind of childish. I don't know why.
Drug products which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products
It
require an
starts out
online
at about
consultation with a
$20
healthcare
for
provider who will
five
determine if
platforms,
appropriate.
and
See
you go
website
up
for
to
details,
about 50
restrictions, and
for
important safety information.
Want
Plus
to
they
boost
retain-
in and out of the bedroom?
they'll retain
Hims has you covered. Introducing a new
the recording
to level up your game.
That's monthly?
Better bedroom performance and
Not that bad, all right.
testosterone support. Put it all together.
I'm sure you can, at some point you can pay for the whole year in advance instead of,
It is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form, and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
There is a house.
Back to all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Stream WWL and the shows you love on Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Or join us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. That's the House of the Rising Sun, originally sung by the Animals in 1966 or 1967. So there you go. If you watched the Ed Sullivan reruns, you would know that. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Bobby in the parish. He's got a question. Hey, what you got for us in the parish, man?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm 69 years old, disabled, and I've been in a house 40 years. And behind me, in the yard behind the house, is a 30-foot at least oak tree, like the ones in City Park. And twice before during storms, the branches have fallen and limbs into my yard. One of them took up the whole yard. And then the next time, not only did it take the yard, but it damaged some of my roof. Now, my insurance paid for it then, and the owners were put on notice by the Justice of the Peace. Now, with hurricane season, I don't have the homeowner's insurance I had before, like everybody else. I've got fire and theft. But is there any recourse if that branch or tree should fall again on my house or my fence, since they've been on notice?
Well, what I would do is kind of update that notice.
Okay.
You know, again, a notice means that, you know, not that you have a tree hanging over my yard, but the notice means that there's something wrong with the tree, that it's diseased, that there are dead branches, that there's a risk of falling, you know, not necessarily a healthy tree, right? So what I would do is I'd go take a lot of pictures, and if there is, in fact, some dead branches hanging around, or you know, something that looks like hanging over your roof that's, you know, very close to touching your roof or touching your roof, I would take those photos in a letter, and, you know, either certified mail it or hand deliver it to, and make a copy, of course, of everything, but hand deliver it to the neighbor and say, look, you know, I need to get, first of all, I'd walk over there and say, hey, you know, can you take care of this for me? And if not, if they don't want to do it.
Justice of the Peace, we did that, like I said, about 8 years ago. The Justice Peace met me over there. We took them in the back. We showed them. And we said, look, when y'all, you know, 20 years ago, an arborist came out and said, this tree needs to be taken down. It's got some dead around the trunk.
Okay, all right. So then you have that proof already, because 8 years ago was a while ago.
Yeah, this happened 20 years ago, but the justice of the peace did tell him, and they said, well, we weren't informed that when we bought the house, and so I don't know if they still remember it or, I remember and we have a different justice. So
do you have a copy of the arborist report?
No.
Or what arborist went out there?
That was 20 years ago. It was right before Katrina, and
correct.
So he was saying it went up with the house.
Again, you're going to have issues of proof, right? So you're going to, it might be worth it. I don't know if you have the money to do this, but to get an arborist over there to see if they can do an inspection of the tree, and write up something to say that it still needs to come down. Because again, if you go into court one day and because your roof got smashed and you say, hey, well, look, 20 years ago, this is what happened. Well, you got to prove it, right? I got to prove that the arborist needs to come testify, or at least you need to have a report that was addressed to them or directed to them, and something to establish what you're saying on the, that orally happened or that you remember happening. So you need to update that and say, hey, look, I had an arborist come, or, so when you spoke to the people, how recently had you spoken to them about the tree?
Oh, no, it's been 8 years. Like I said, since the last time it fell on my fence and damaged my yard. And they did help. They did come and clear off my backyard. When I tell you, my whole yard was full of their tree limbs and branches. So they came out and did that. So, but it's been 8 years. Luckily I haven't had any damage since then, but.
Correct. Yeah, again, I would just go back and talk to them and say, hey, look, we're in the hurricane season. I don't have the type of coverage I used to have. I don't have wind coverage. So can you take care of this? Because, and again, take photographs, and if they don't want to do it, then at least put them on notice. That, hey, look, I'm putting you on notice that this is a dangerous condition and it needs to be taken care of. It's your responsibility. It's your tree. And then just kind of go from there.
Okay.
But,
thanks so much.
Thanks for the call. We got to take a break.
Yeah, take a break. The Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL, home of the LSU Fighting.
Caught me off guard. I was screening the call.
On the free Odyssey app.
Gotcha.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone free. Download the Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Tommy Tucker, Newell Normand, Scoot. Listen when you want, how you want. Or tell your smart speaker, play WWL. Keep it locked on WWL for breaking sports news. Powered by BetMGM. Smarter bets start with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app or visit BetMGM.com today. WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444.
Non-attorney spokesperson, Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider.
All right, we have Donna in Bell Chase.
Okay.
And, she's willing to wait till after the news break and all that for to take the call. She wants to talk about divorce without minor children.
Joy.
Okay.
That's hims.com. Joy, HIM.com/JOY.
Let me look.
You, our customers, we at Plessis Builders have got some great news.
We've been named as one of this year's Pool Inside
It's about a little over 3 minutes.
in the country.
Okay.
This honor is based off a list of criteria that involves our staff, industry, and community involvement.
And most importantly to us.
Yeah, I talked to her about a situation. I asked her, like, would you rather more time?
Yeah. Okay.
Because I know we have a guest at 10:25.
Right. I'm going to send you his
That's
information.
theplesisbuilders.net.
All right.
It's one of the top 50 builders in the country.
I'm St. Tammany Parish Assessor Louis Fitzmaurice.
How about
the
if
month
we
of
started?
August is when
Well,
the tax
maybe,
rolls
no,
open
that
for
would
public inspection. So I ask you to please check your assessment and verify your mailing address in August, not when you get your tax bill at the end of the year. This can be easily done by visiting our website at stpao.org or calling our office at 809-8180. Thank you.
Do you have constant clogs or smells coming from your plumbing? If your house was built before 1975, you may have cast iron or steel pipes that need to be replaced. Well, there's no need to tear up your house or yard to fix the problem. Surgy's Heating, Cooling, Electrical, and Plumbing can video your pipes to see what's causing the issue. Once we diagnose the problem, we can provide trenchless repiping options that don't tear up your property. With flexible financing options available, you can pay over time and enjoy peace of mind today. Call Surgy's today for a $99 camera inspection or visit us online at surgysac.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 167908. Slide through small sliders for the best sliders, fries, and queso. Go big, eat smalls.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Terry, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you Weekend Warriors. You know, listening to Coleman's selection, coming in and out the breaks, I didn't realize there were so many songs made about New Orleans. I mean, just one after the other.
There's many, many more to go.
Many more to go. That's right.
Yeah, little Fats Domino, got all kind of, yeah.
That's it. Well, I do know that, like, when you'd have somebody like Fats Domino or the Neville brothers would go to Europe, they would be mobbed like superstars, but they could come to New Orleans and sort of just blend into the fabric of the,
of the music scene.
Yeah. They could go. They could go to the, the grocery store. And nobody would really bother them. They would just part of the scenery here. So, but we are. We're going to go to hour number 3 in a couple of minutes, and I think we have a caller. She's going to wait on until after the news to have her question. But in the interim, we got 2 minutes to go. The Saints are underdogs of 2.5 points. So
I think they're going to be underdogs all season.
So
just a prediction.
Just a prediction. Well, preseason is hard to gauge. What I do for preseason, if I was betting, is I would bet on the teams that have a quarterback competition for the second and third position. In other words, if you have 2 players who aren't in stone as to that second position, and also 2, maybe a quarterback who is not Joe Burrow, who is not Jaden Daniels, who's not going to play, where if you have a first-string quarterback who might play a quarter and a half or 2 quarters because he still needs to work. So I think it's all quarterback driven as far as who would you bet on and who would be the favorite. But I don't know for the San Diego Chargers game. I think I'd have to take the Chargers and give the 2.5. I mean, I just first game, new system.
Until the Saints show you something else, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new system, new offense, new defense. I just can't see that. Seems like a good bet for the Chargers, given 2.5. But if you're betting too much on preseason game, you probably need help and need to call that 1-800 line. Because you definitely. So anyway,
right.
So we're going to be back for hour number 3 on all things legal. I've got national news, local news. We'll take a call after the break, and then we're going to have Rene Nadeau, who's a Fox Sports analyst, to sort of preview the Saints preseason. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Home of the Saints, LSU, and Pelicans. 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. Will President Trump invite Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to his planned meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin? The White House isn't saying, but sources tell CBS News Trump is willing to give Zelensky a seat at the table. On CNN, the U.S. ambassador to NATO, Matthew Whitaker.
Obviously, the decision is going to be made by President Trump. He agreed to meet with President Putin in Alaska on Friday. And if he thinks that is the best scenario to invite Zelensky, then he'll do that.
The European Union says Zelensky should be there. The BBC's Moira Alderson.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has thanked European leaders for standing by Ukraine in response to a joint statement of support by countries including France, Britain, Germany and Poland. Kiev's European allies have insisted that Ukraine must be represented at talks next Friday between President Trump and Vladimir Putin.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said today he hopes Zelensky will be able to be at the summit. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu isn't backing down from plans to take control over Gaza City.
Given Hamas's refusal to lay down its arms, Israel has no choice but to finish the job and complete the defeat of Hamas.
He told reporters in Jerusalem today, our goal is not to occupy Gaza, our goal is to free Gaza. And he said Israel will win the war in Gaza, quote, with or without the support of others. Chicago has been racked by shootings the past few days. Here's WBBM News Radio reporter Carolina Garibay.
6 people had been shot, including a 22-year-old woman who was pronounced dead at the hospital. Then another shooting took place just 3 blocks away around 4:30 a.m. 2 18-year-olds were shot by 2 other people in a car. One of the 18-year-olds died at the hospital, and the other is expected to be okay. Police say earlier they also responded to a person shot not far from the other incidents.
And in Baltimore, a 38-year-old man has died and 5 others were injured last night in a mass shooting. One of the injured was a 5-year-old girl who was shot in the hand. The Surgeon General during President Trump's first term is criticizing HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. in the days after a shooting at CDC headquarters in Atlanta. Jerome Adams spoke on CBS's Face the Nation.
He said no one should be harmed while working to protect the public. If you don't believe that people are working to protect the public, then that means it's okay to commit violence, at least in some people's eyes.
Records show more than 70 million Americans have experienced the muggiest start to summer on record. Parts of 20 states and Washington, D.C. have had record days with uncomfortable dew points in June and July. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Do you know how America became the best country on God's green earth? We made things, from automobiles to airplanes to textiles. We were the manufacturing epicenter of the world, the innovators that every other country turned to. I'm Katie Lyon, co-founder of Allegiance Flag Supply, and I'm here to tell you that the American spirit is alive and well at Allegiance, where we make American flags 100% in America. When you fly your American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, you're not just honoring our country. You're supporting American men and women who proudly make the highest quality American flags, period. True patriots who put care into every stitch. See our full story at showallegiance.com and learn about our 100% American-based supply chain. Fly your flag from showallegiance.com with pride, because every flag says manufacturing is still alive and well in the U.S., and we are still the greatest country. Save $35 on your American flag set when you go to showallegiance.com.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL.
Happy Sunday. It's going to be a nice day today. It'll be hot and muggy with high temperatures in the low 90s this afternoon under a mix of sunshine and clouds. Expect a few hit or miss showers and thunderstorms today.
WWL TV meteorologist Alexa Trishler. The Saints are on the road to take on the Chargers today in preseason action. WWL's Andre Champagne tells us it's our first look at the new regime for the black and gold.
The Saints are hoping that it can get big production out of a very loaded wide receiver room. Chris Olave enters his fourth season with New Orleans and is looking for a bounce-back year after battling with injuries. Head coach Kellen Moore says Olave brings special talent to the field.
Does an excellent job from a route running, route discipline, really good hands catcher. He attacks the football. He's doing a great job. And, as we build this thing, I think it's exciting to, narrow your focus, put him in certain positions to be successful, and we'll do that as we move forward.
With the New Orleans Saints facing the Chargers in its first preseason game, preseason can be an opportunity to find out New Orleans' rotation.
Quarterback Spencer Rattler is getting the start. You can hear the game at 3 here on WWL. A woman is dead and another hospitalized after overnight violence.
The NOPD is investigating a double shooting that left one woman dead and another woman injured. Authorities say it happened around midnight in Central City on Magnolia Street. Police say one woman was pronounced dead at the scene, while the other was taken to the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. So far, there have been no updates on her condition, no word either on a suspect, motive, or the victim's identity at this time.
WWL TV's Lily Cummings. Amtrak tomorrow is announcing new bus service between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. It is a step that could eventually lead to regular passenger train service between the Crescent City and the capital city.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. Today, the Saints start their journey in the 2025 preseason with a road matchup against the LA Chargers. After the black and gold scrimmage on Friday, head coach Kellen Moore announced that second-year quarterback Spencer Rattler would get the start. However, he added that rookie Tyler Shuck and third-year QB Jake Haener will also get reps, and he discussed what the upcoming 3 preseason matchups mean to that competition.
It'll be a great evaluation piece for us. By no means is it any bigger than the collection of all these practices that have occurred.
Rattler also spoke to the media after the decision was made.
Super excited, awesome opportunity. Excited to get out there with the guys and try to play some clean ball, try to score some points, and have some fun with the guys out there.
Coach Moore was non-committal when discussing if the Saints' starting 5 offensive line would get run today, but WWL's Bobby Hebert wants to see that unit in action right off the bat.
I think why not? You want to get some continuity, them playing together, because they really have played different positions. Trevor Penny's out going from tackle to guard. You got a young rookie at left tackle. I still want McCoy in there because he's the quarterback of the offensive line. I think Cesar Ruiz is getting better with his pass protection. And then you have Fuaga at right tackle. So, no, I'm not saying I'll be playing all the first half.
Coach Moore did reveal that about half a dozen players on both sides of the ball would likely be inactive for this matchup. Kickoff between the Saints and Chargers from SoFi Stadium is today at 3 p.m., and the countdown to kickoff featuring Bobby Hebert and Steve Geller starts at 1 p.m. right here on the home of the Saints, WWL.
Coleman, who's on the line?
WWL Sports.
Now, the Serve Pro Cleanup, Restoration, and Construction forecast on WWL.
Expect nice weather on your Sunday. We'll have a blend of sunshine and clouds. It'll be hot and muggy with high temperatures in the low 90s this afternoon. Plan for a few hit or miss showers and storms today. For the new work week, it will be hot and humid with high temperatures near 90 degrees on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll see some more scattered rain and storms early to midweek with maybe some heavy rain at times, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. Later in the week will be less rainy but much hotter with high temperatures soaring to the mid-90s later this week. From WWL Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Alexa Trischler.
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
Who do we have on the line, Coleman?
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Seamson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you, here's Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for bonus hour number 3. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be on till 12 o'clock. We'll be leading into the first take.
11 o'clock.
Yes, what time?
You're on till 11.
Till 11 o'clock.
You said 12.
12 o'clock.
Don't hit me up for 4 hours, Doug.
No. Well, that's right. 3 hours. All right, and we'll lead up until the first take with Steve Geller and Charlie Long. Countdown to kickoff at 1. Game time 3:05 with Deuce and Mike Hoss, Deuce and the Moose. And so you could just keep, stay on WWL all day and get your football fix. But we'll have Rene Nadeau at 10:25. And who do we have on the line right now, Coleman?
Donna.
Donna's got a question regarding divorce without children. Hey, Donna, you on All Things Legal.
Hi, Doug. Hi, Albert. I'm going to try to hold composure and get you from the beginning up until now. I listen to you guys every Sunday.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. My soon-to-be ex-husband, if I can expedite this quickly, was arrested May 31st for resisting an officer, aggravated flight from an officer, domestic violence in the second degree on me, simple obstruction of highway, driving while intoxicated, reckless operation of a vehicle, and open container, all in my vehicle. Now, I went to the district attorney's office. They're very, very good, okay? The prosecuting DA is not going to take a plea deal on August 27th in regards to his case. However, I requested, if I'm saying this correctly, I'm really not sure. I'm still trying to digest everything and trying to heal from this domestic violence at 65 years old. It's just unbelievable. Wow. I'm trying to get what they call as a dissolution of marriage.
Well, I don't know. I think just getting a divorce is probably just file a petition for divorce, and probably you can just wait your 6 months.
Okay.
And that would probably be the easiest.
The problem is it's finances.
Well,
that's the hardest part because they gave me all the paperwork with the self-represented litigant petition for 103, one divorce, without minor children, for divorce issue only, for request and use of allowed last name, which I never changed my last name in 19 years.
Right. Well, that's the way you probably have to go. Now, there's a form where you could request your court costs to be waived. It's a pauper's petition.
Right.
You have to fill all that out, and then you can have your court costs basically paid for. So you'd have to do a petition. How long have y'all been separate and apart?
Okay, he went into jail May 31st, so it's fixing to be 90 days. So I've got 3 more months,
you
correct?
got 3 more months to file a 103 divorce, which would give you an immediate divorce. Yes, so that's your most expedited way of addressing this.
Okay, so, and if he doesn't, let's see, what is it, that waiver? I forget what
it's
they
a waiver
call
of
it.
service.
Yes.
If he signs a waiver of service, and then basically, if he does that after this, then you can petition the court to have a hearing. What parish are you in?
Plaquemines Parish.
Okay, so you'd petition the court to finalize your divorce. So basically, if you filed the petition for 103 divorce, file your pauper's petition to waive your court costs. And if he signs a waiver of service, you have to have the waiver of service filed into the record. If that happens, and that's after this 180 days, then you can petition the court to have a hearing on finalizing the divorce.
Okay. And what's that called? Paupers?
Paupers. It's former
Paupers.
Pauperus, I believe. Albert, I'm not sure. You're French.
Yeah,
I'm not
pauper
French.
just means you can't afford the court costs. So
no.
In forma pauperus means in the form of a person who can't afford a pauper, right? And so so they just allow you to defray the court costs, and if court costs are awarded, then they'll go ahead and they'll charge the court cost to the party that loses the litigation.
So do you recommend that I do? If I can, I've got several lawyers in the parish I know that can work with me with this, that won't charge a lot of money. Or is there someone else I can go to with a minimum fee to help me with this?
You can shop around. I don't know if the Loyola Law Clinic still does these cases. I know when I was in the Loyola Law Clinic 38 years ago, they did these type of cases. So you could maybe try the Loyola Law Clinic. There's Southeast Legal Clinic. I know my wife.
I got you. Yes.
My wife does a whole load of those where she files uncontested 103 divorces. And
right.
So Loyola Law Clinic, Southeast Legal Clinic. I don't know who in Plaquemine Parish may or may not do it. Sometimes you may be calling around, but I would try Southeast Legal Clinic, and you tell them that you're a victim of domestic violence, and they may be able to help you.
Okay, and where are they located?
Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can do this real quick. I know they service the general. Let's see, Southeast. If you give me a minute.
Yes, sir.
I will see if I can get it real quick for you. But they do a lot of work for victims of domestic abuse, and also well, let's see. I'm going to give you an office number. Here it is, 1-800-891-0076. 1-800-891-0076. But when you call, tell them that you're in Plaquemine Parish.
Okay.
And then if they don't service you, they'll direct you there.
Okay, and while I have, what is the default judgment of 1031 divorce without minor children?
Yeah, the default judgment is basically, here's the procedure. Okay, you file after 6 months, 180 days past living separate and apart. Then you go ahead and you file a petition for 103 divorce, Article 103 divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And then you either have to serve the petition on your soon-to-be ex-husband, or he could sign a waiver of service. One of the two. If he's in jail...
What if he goes to prison?
You serve him in prison. There's a way of doing that.
Okay.
And I asked the clerk of court to do that. Now, if he's served in the prison... So you got to do one of two things. He's either served in prison, or he signs a waiver of service saying, hey, I've received this petition this petition for divorce under Article 103, and the time delays start to run. And after the time delay is run, you have to petition the court to set a hearing to confirm the judgment of divorce, which would be known as a default judgment, because presumably he will not contest the divorce.
No.
So basically, you can get a hearing date, or you wait for the delays to pass, which I believe is 15 days. I got to ask my wife. Exactly sure.
It'd be nice she'd have been on the phone.
Yeah, well, she's in the other room, but she's getting dressed for church, so I can't bother her during her show.
Right.
But after the time delays, you can petition the court to have a hearing to confirm your default judgment.
Okay.
And my daughter, who does this also, is walking her baby in a Harahan Park, so I can't ask her now either. So, but I think it'll get you there. I think it'll get you there.
Okay, I do appreciate it.
All right. Well, I wish you good luck. I'm so sorry that happened to you, and just keep your head up, and we wish you the best in the future.
I have no choice. I finally, instead of what I'm doing now, is living life instead of existing in life.
Yes, I get you.
I love it.
Well, good.
Yes.
Well,
Good for you. Yes.
Good for you, and we wish you the best of luck. All right. Thanks so much. Yes, I should have. Michelle she's getting ready for church, so she would give me all the time delays on when as far as a 103 divorce. But I do know that you can either file a petition for a 102 divorce and then wait. If you have children, you have to wait 360 days, and then after that 360 days, you could petition the court for divorce. Or if it's a 103 divorce, or let me backtrack. If you don't have kids, the time delay for a 102 divorce, you wait 180 days after the opposing spouse has been served, and then you can petition the court for a divorce, or you can be separate and apart for if you without children for 180 days, or if you have children, 360 days. And if you're separate apart, you could file for basically an immediate divorce under 103. You file the petition, you serve the petition on the opposing spouse, then you set it for a hearing, and you can get your divorce confirmed. But the only difference is when you file a 102 divorce and then you have a community property issue, you're retroactive, and then you eventually get a divorce either 180 days after or 360. For purposes of community property, your termination date for your community property is the date of filing. Whereas, and this is sort of a subtlety, if you are waiting for 180 days or 360 days to file a divorce, and you're going to go 103, your retroactive date of the petition for divorce will be the date of filing, but it will not, any debts that are incurred during that 180-day or 360-day period that you waited to file the 103 divorce will still be community property. So basically, if you have community property and then you have substantial community property, you probably don't want to wait to have to file a 103 divorce, because if you do, during that interim period where you're separate and apart, you will have any debts that are incurred or anything that happens during that time period you're separate and apart is still going to be community property. So if you're ever in a situation where you have some assets and you file for divorce and you're deciding whether you want to wait for that time period of 180 days or 360 days if you have children, or do you want to file right away under a 102, usually community property is a determining factor as to whether you want to do that or not, because if you know you're not going to stay together, and especially a lot of times, a lot of marriages are due to money, that don't make it are due to money problems. And if you want to stem the, stop the bleeding and sort of get a handle on some of these liabilities, it's probably better to file originally a 102, go through your waiting period, and then file for a divorce. At least you'll have a retroactive date of termination of community property to the date of filing, so that you minimize or mitigate any kind of additional liabilities that you may have in connection with the community. So that's sort of a primer on 102 or 103 divorces. So there you go. All right, we're going to go to, we're going to take a break. We're going to get Rene Nadeau on the phone. He's a Fox Sports analyst, a former ESPN color announcer, and been on the radio scene, New Orleans media scene for the last 40 years. And he's going to talk about New Orleans Saints, where we are heading into preseason, who are the surprises, how the quarterbacks are doing, and all your questions. So we'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Let's go. Inside Black and Gold.
Kool-Aid history.
Coleman, you got his phone number?
Yeah, I got the email.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the most vocal guys on the field.
Every good NFL defense has that don't test him corner. You have a guy that we're going to throw it to the other side. And that's who I feel like Kool-Aid is turning into. Will he be exactly that this year? I don't know. But he has that attitude about him right now.
Follow Inside Black and Gold on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a...
All right, we got Rene ready to go.
All right.
Than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Hi, I'm Doug Sunseri with the new Sunseri Law Firm and host of All Things Legal on Sunday mornings on WWL, AM, FM, and .com.
And I'm Michelle Demarest Sunseri. Let the Sunseri Law Firm help you with your estate, probate, family, and business issues.
And I'm their daughter, attorney Katie Sunseri, and we do make the complex understandable.
Call Doug and Katie at our Metairie office at 504-214-9111.
Or you can call me, the boss lady, in Mandeville at 985-624-9697.
Katie, tell everyone who's really the boss.
I'm taking the fifth on that one.
Like to travel? People's Health members enjoy peace of mind knowing their health is covered. If you're away from home and need routine medical care, use the United Health Passport benefit from People's Health. You'll pay your usual copay for in-network care. No referrals necessary. And remember, you're always covered for emergency and urgent care worldwide. To learn more, call 1-855-821-2666. Plans are insured through United Healthcare Insurance Company or one of its affiliated companies, a Medicare Advantage organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in the plan depends on the plan's contract renewal with Medicare.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
It's All Things Legal on WWL and streaming live on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Doug Sunseri or Albert Nicaud, call their office at 504-837-1304 or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers talk and text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We're on an extra hour today, leading into the Saints pregame coverage for our first take. So we decided to bring our good friend, Rene Nadeau. Nadeau from Fox Sports and also former ESPN, color announcer, Crescent City Sports, all kinds of WFAN. Thank you, Rene, for joining us. Appreciate you having us on this Sunday morning. Joining us. How are you doing, Rene?
Glad to be with you guys. Always special, man. And, you're right. You mentioned a bunch of things, Doug. I'm still trying to figure out what I do well. I've been doing this about 46 years, and I still haven't figured that out yet.
Oh, come on. Now, you've had quite a, ESPN, you're with Fox Sports, Crescent City Sports, Cox. Who else is it? WFAN right now. You're doing the game day for WFAN. So you've been around. That goes without saying, right?
Well, yeah, I've done it, and I've been very fortunate, very blessed, and I've been doing this a long time. And it's been a well-paid hobby, and had a chance to meet some great people and have some great experiences, and it's been a really, really fun ride.
That's right. And Tiger Vision too. That's back in the Tiger Vision days.
too. That's right. 16 years. That's right. Yeah.
I forgot about that. And also,
so did I.
And you, even longer than that, you have a history with Albert or the Nicaud family, huh?
the Nicaud family. I go way back to Albert was just a toddler. He used to hold his hand across the street. Let's just say that.
There you go. There you go. I know the story is something about Albert sitting on your back while you were doing push-ups, or some story about that.
Yeah, I used to stay at the Nicaud family house quite a few times, and really best friends with Guido, and I seemed like we shared a room. There was a bunch of us, myself, Guido, Albert, Michael. Who knows? We were a bunch of us in a room sleeping, and probably Albert jumped in my back when I was doing some push-ups, but it was all in fun.
There you go. There you go. Well, we had you on. I want to talk about New Orleans Saints, and you've been keeping up. You've been at training camp, and what is your general assessment of the Saints going into this first preseason game?
Kellen Moore is extremely organized, and he doesn't do anything without a purpose. And I've talked to guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's won 2 Super Bowls, and Davin Godchaux, and guys who've been in the league a long time. And fellas, I got to tell you, when they explain and describe Kellen Moore, their eyebrows raise as far as accentuating how good they think he has been. When a Clyde Edwards-Helaire tells you he is one of the most organized people he's been around, and he's been with the Kansas City Chiefs, that tells you quite a bit. And Davin Godchaux has been around Belichick and things like that. So I'm not saying Kellen Moore has been anointed as the best, but his practices and his camaraderie with the team has been very well documented. And, he's only 37 years old, so he's not much older than Demario Davis and Cam Jordan. And so he can identify some things that maybe an older guy like a Belichick maybe can't tap into.
Now, I guess everybody's wanting to know about the quarterbacks and how are they progressing. And, my thought is when you have inexperienced quarterbacks, you really can't expect a lot from them anytime in the near future. I mean, the learning curve is so steep. But where are the Saints as far as their quarterbacks, and what's your observations on how they're progressing and where they are now?
I watch practice with Steve Geller and Bobby Hebert all the time, and and Bobby's pointed out to me a couple of times how I was wrong about this, but I always thought that they were going to add a veteran quarterback, and Bobby kind of agreed with me, but he didn't think they would. They didn't add a veteran quarterback, and they probably won't now. But to answer your question, I always contended that Spencer Rattler, even though he only had 6 starts last year and only 228 attempts, that was a small sample size of what he can do, and that meant a lot. That carried over to 2025, and that gave him a step up over Tyler Shough. Maybe Tyler Shough, maybe in a long range, he may be more talented and maybe the long range answer. But right now, short range, Spencer Rattler had a running start entering training camp and OTAs and minicamp because he has been there. He's been there when the bullets are flying live. And he hasn't hurt himself in training camp. He's looked very good. Tyler Shough certainly has helped himself, guys, the last few practices. He had a good practice yesterday in LA. And I think he's gonna show himself well. I wouldn't read too much into this first game because, a lot of things go into, what the rookies can do and stuff, and what the coaches are looking for. They're looking for completions, of course, and progress in the offense. But I think really Doug Nussmeier and Kellen Moore are really looking really closely at how the quarterbacks get in and out of the huddle, how they rebound from a bad play, how they may improvise from a bad play, and kind of organization overall and comfort at the line of scrimmage and checkoffs. Sometimes at practice we see a guy, and we don't know what the defense is doing. And maybe Brandon Staley may be challenging the quarterbacks a little bit with some different defensive looks just to see what the quarterbacks will do. And that was on the, instruction of Kellen Moore. So sometimes it looks like a quarterback is not looking good, but Kellen Moore may have told Brandon Staley to really throw the kitchen sink at him and see how they react. So I guess to answer your question, it's going to be a little bit of a process. I don't think you see maybe as much today. I think you see a bigger jump from today to next week as far as how how much more comfort Tyler Shough and maybe Spencer Rattler and Hayner will be.
Now, tell us about, I guess, some of the players in training camp who are sort of flashing that may not be someone who is. Well, let's start with the draft picks. what are your observations of the draft picks, and who's progressing, who's maybe in a learning phase, and or who's standing out? Who's out of this year's draft? Who's really impressed you?
Kelvin Banks, obviously, as he's a starter at the left tackle position, and he's drawn praise from Eric McCoy and Trevor Penning and Cesar Ruiz. He's done a really, really good job. A guy who was really impressed from day one since he arrived in rookie camp is Quincy Riley in the secondary, and he reminds me so much of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Riley is from Louisville, the same college that he went to college with Tyler Shuck. He's a 4'4" guy. He's 5'11", 195. He can play man or zone coverage, good on special teams. He's looked really, really good. I think in time you'll see Vernon Brofton, the defensive lineman out of Texas, and a guy who will tell you has really steadily climbed and done really well is Danny Stutzman, three-time tackling lead at Oklahoma. He's really, really grabbed my attention, and he looks like he's very advanced. He has a nose for the ball, and I think special teams, which he invites, I think special teams is going to really, really help his cause this year.
What about some of the undrafted free agents? Is there any undrafted free agents who sort of caught your eye and has a good chance of making the team or at least the practice squad?
I did leave a guy out that as far as drafts, Devin Neal is right now, he's got a hamstring injury, but I think he's got a great shot at making his team. He reminds me a lot of Ty J. Spears, and everybody remembers him from Tulane. You mentioned undrafted guys. A couple of guys I think may wind up on the practice squad, but sometimes we all know that practice squad can kind of, develop down the road, and maybe you wind up on the roster. Is Marcus Yarns, a running back. You may see him today. He's a change of pace guy, and he's a running back, not big, about 195 pounds. I think a guy who also may see some reps today and is a guy who's been cross-training is Torricelli Simpkins. He's a guard center out of South Carolina, and he was the highest grade offensive lineman on the South Carolina team last year, and that says a lot. I tell you what, a guy who hasn't really shown a lot so far, but I think he's got a lot of potential out of South Dakota State, a cornerback, Dallas, Dalys Beanham. He had 12 interceptions in college, and he's a cornerback. He's an undrafted guy. Reminds me a lot of Rico Payton, who made the squad last year as an undrafted rookie. But Dalys Beanham is a guy who I think is undrafted. He could maybe grab some attention.
Gotcha. Now, who are some of the veterans that are in trouble? Some of the veterans whose job is in jeopardy right now and needs to, sort of step it up to stay on the roster.
Well, I guess you got to point out. Everybody's pointed out, Isaiah Foskey, and he's got to show something. He hasn't done anything in his time here. I like this guy a lot, but it's a lot at defensive line. Christian Boyd was a 7th round pick last year out of Northern Iowa, same school as Trevor Penning, and he's in a competitive situation. John Ridgway is a guy who came aboard a trade in Marshawn Lattimore. He's a guy who's in that defensive line rotation, and he's going to have to show something. I'm not sure if they're going to keep both Nathan Shepard and Kalen Saunders. They may, but I think one of those guys may not make the roster. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who's another couple of guys. A guy who's going to be fighting is Dylan Raduns. There's a guy who came aboard from. He's got 57 games in the NFL with Tennessee. He came aboard as a tackle guard, and it may come down to either Dylan Raduns or Landon Young, and see who the coaching staff likes more. But that's just a few names, I think. Some guys, some veterans who are trying to make this roster. Nick Saldivari, unfortunately, has been lost for the season with an injury. But I think that he was a guy who really needed to show something in this camp.
What about Kendra Miller? He seems to be on the bubble, and how is he showing in training camp?
Doug Albert, he's had some good days and not so great days. He's a 3rd-round draft choice in 2023, 8 games last year, 304 yards. The good thing about him, what he likes about this offense, Kendra Miller, is that last year Clint Kubiak ran a lot of outside zone offense for him. He's more of a between the tackles guy, and Kendra Miller has been more comfortable running between the tackles. The thing with him is he's got to stay healthy, and he's getting a lot of competition from Devin Neal and Velus Jones, a guy who came aboard recently as a veteran, runs a 4.3 40, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So you're not going to keep that many running backs. In fact, they said, Kellen Moore said they may keep 3 or 4 running backs. So Kendra Miller, these next 2 weeks are going to be vital for him because Velus Jones is going to get a lot of carries today. And Marcus Yarns is another one who you may see quite a bit today.
There you go. How's Clyde looking in camp? And in comparison, because when he came out I think he came out as the last pick in the first round or early in the second round in Kansas City. How does he look compared to when he came out? He had a really good rookie year. I mean, is he the same kind of runner, or is he, maybe a little wear and tear on him? How's, if you could just tell us about Clyde and how he's performing.
Well, I'm doing a story on him this week in CrescentCitySports.com, and had a chance to chat with him this week. I talked about him coming out of Catholic High and all the running backs that Catholic High and Baton Rouge have produced. But to answer your question, he had 800 yards in Kansas City his rookie season and kind of tailed off since then. But he kind of likes, guys, the offense that Kellen Moore runs, because there's sometimes that they'll employ Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Alvin Kamara in the same backfield and split them both out wide and isolate them on a linebacker or a safety. And I think that's an advantage for the Saints. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire really, really likes the offense that Kellen Moore is employing. He feels like his 2024, he had a chance to show 2 games last year, and he didn't get a chance to do very much. I think he had, I forget how many carries, I think 13, whatever. But it was a sample size, and he thinks he can do a lot better. And he's glad he was brought back here under a new regime. And he says it's a fresh breath of air, and he likes this team a whole lot. And a guy who's won 2 Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs, he said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire said, this team has a lot of potential. He likes their camaraderie in the locker room and the way guys help one another out and stuff. So that bodes very, very well. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is right now with Alvin Kamara. They're not going to show him a lot in preseason. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire will get some chance to maybe show he's still got some gas in the tank.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Rene, can you hang around? We for a break.
Sure.
We got to go to a break, and I've got some other questions. And also, I want to ask you, how would you have assessed Albert Nicaud as a quarterback at St. Paul? That's one of the things I was going to ask you also. But let's go.
Might want to think about that on the break.
Yeah, on the break. So let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
It's WWL, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Listen to the WWL shows you love and the local content you crave on the TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey apps.
Previously on Scoot on the Air.
SNAP recipients can no longer use their SNAP cards to purchase candy, sodas, or energy drinks. And I know people cheat. I mean, you may go to the store every week. Some people with SNAP cards, they run out of food. And when their SNAP card becomes available with new funds, they might use all of the money they have on the SNAP card getting food for the entire month. So it's really unfair to judge people because you don't know what their life is.
Don't miss the next Scoot on the Air. Weekdays, 1 to 4 p.m. on WWL.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Daily showers, relentless downpours. Your commercial roof takes a beating. Is it ready for the next storm? With Guardian Roofing Systems, you don't have to wonder. They're the experts in enhancing flat, metal, and low-slope commercial roofs. From inspections and repairs to full replacements and coatings that extend your roof's life, Guardian keeps your business dry and protected, rain or shine. Call Guardian Roofing Systems today, 504-588-9099, or visit GuardianRoofingLA.com.
My name is Hugh Lambert, also known as Skip. Our firm's focus is on helping maritime workers that don't want to risk losing their job. If proper medical care allows the return to full duty, then that's likely the best option, and you owe us nothing. If medical care is ineffective or denied, or the injury permanently disabling, then that option doesn't exist. We're experienced in helping maritime workers decide what's their best option to maximize recovery. Google us at Lambert, Zaney, Smith & Soso or lambertzaney.com. Be safe out there.
LA 18-0969.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Summer is here, and it's time to plan your style staycation with Bob's Discount Furniture, where you can find everyday low prices on the hottest styles. The comfiest Consumer Reports recommended mattresses, fast, friendly delivery, and flexible financing to fit your budget. Go to mybobs.com for details. So stock up and score everyday low prices, delivered on time all summer long at your nearest store or at mybobs.com.
Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Experience luxury redefined at the all-new Genesis of New Orleans, now open. With a large selection of new Genesis models, you'll find the one that fits your style and needs. Enjoy complimentary maintenance for 3 years or 36,000 miles, plus available pickup and delivery. From sales to service, everything is designed around your comfort and convenience. Stop by and say hi at Genesis of New Orleans on Power Boulevard at the corner of Veterans. Luxury evolved. Get cash for back to school. Sell your gold or silver at Southern Coins and Precious Metals.
Reliable high-speed fiber internet with a 90-day guarantee. Let's rev.biz.
MLR. You know who we are. Roofing and construction experts. MLRBuildersLLC.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Back to attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and our time-shifted podcasts on Odyssey, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud. We're here with Fox Sports analyst Rene Nadeau. Rene, now I'd have to ask you this. You've known Albert for a long time. He was quarterback at St. Paul back in 1979. What would be your assessment of a quarterback who, on 3rd and 25, the coach would still call a running play?
You know, and I hope Albert's not listening because I don't want to embarrass him because I know he's kind of shy about this. But, you know, I would say Albert would be in a fraternity of one. With his passing prowess and his playmaking skills, he's probably identical to no one. And I would say it's fair to say it would be an insult to compare him to Joe Burrow. So I'll just say that.
There you go. Well, you know, one mistake Albert went was instead of going to the Manning Passing Academy, he picked the Guido Merkins Passing Academy. And that probably inhibited his growth a little bit, you know. So
and I don't know if I remember Guido saying, "We'll call you, don't call us," but that was a long time ago. I might be wrong.
Yeah, that was a while back.
There you go. So
we ran a pretty good option back then. And there was one guy in my offensive line that was bigger than me. How about that? So I ran for my life.
There you go.
Just saying.
Well, Rene, why don't you give us your assessment on, what do you see the Saints doing this year, and what would be like the ceiling and what would be the floor as far as, for the regular season?
People are picking them at 4.5 wins, 5 wins, stuff like that. And I guess that sounds possible. But the thing is, right now, you don't know in division how good Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and Carolina is going to be. Is Bryce Young taking the next step? If Baker Mayfield, something would have happened to him, the Buccaneers would be in trouble. And Michael Penix, he starts his new era in Atlanta. So you're not sure how good those teams are going to be. Would the Saints split with those teams? Could they win 2 from one of those teams? I think that the schedule they have is a little soft compared to some of the other teams and stuff like that. So it's going to give them some options. And I think you'll see the Saints better in week 4 and 3, 4, and 5 as you move forward, as this offensive line begins to gel a little bit, as the quarterback situation kind of clears out a little bit, and things like that. The secondary is gonna also need some grooming and all. So to answer your question, I think they'll be better from game 4 or 5 on, and maybe that's in the middle of the season is when they may really reap the benefits and score some wins. But how many wins could they get? I don't know. I don't think they're going to fight for a division championship, but I think they're going to go over 5 wins. I really do. I think that would be a safe bet to say that this team may surprise some people, depending how good that offensive line could be, and maybe they may be better than people think.
Well, they have, 4 first-round picks on there and 1 second-round pick. So they made a big investment. And, tell me about for Penning moving from tackle to guard, and what do you see is the benefit of that, or if that's how that's working out?
Sure. Well, I just did a story on CrescentCitySports.com, and Kellen Moore and Jack Stoll, a tight end from the Philadelphia Eagles last year, both said he could duplicate, Trevor Penning could duplicate what Mekhi Becton did last year for the Eagles. He was a bust with the Chargers, comes in with the Eagles, Mekhi Becton, and he winds up parlaying his success last year into a 2-year contract, with the Chargers this year, I should say. So he was a bust coming in here before went to the Eagles, and Trevor Penning could duplicate that. I mean, he was moved in just like Becton was moved from tackle to guard. Penning was moved from tackle to guard. And if you talk to the guys like Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz and all the other guys around, even Kalen Saunders commented how good it seems like Trevor Penning looks in practice. And Jack Stoll, the tight end from the Eagles, said that he saw Penning drive an opponent 50 yards down the field and dump him. So to answer your question, Penning, we talked to last week, and he feels very comfortable. He feels like the left guard suits his skill set. He's in a phone booth. Things happen a lot quicker, but he can be more physical. And he's got Kalen Banks to one side and Eric McCoy to the other side. And I think Trevor Penning, the Saints didn't pick up his final option year next year, so this is a prove-it year for Trevor Penning. If he has a Mekhi Becton type of season, he could hit the bonanza next year, and would the Saints retain him? I mean, if he's a starter, he would make some more money.
Gotcha. Well, Rene, what you going to be up to during the football season? You're going to be WFAN. Report, tell us what else you're going to be doing with Crescent City Sports and everything else.
CrescentCitySports.com, CBS Radio, WFAN. Yeah, and I'm fortunate enough. I'm on everybody's Rolodex, so I'm fortunate enough to be in a lot of radio shows. Jordy Hopper, a good friend of mine, good friend of y'all's, asked me a couple weeks ago. He said, "You must be in everybody's Rolodex." I said, "I am," and it's good to check with friends all the time, and so it's good that people remember you. So I keep real busy being a guest on a lot of radio shows, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, Rene, you're going to have to tell the people under 40 what a Rolodex is.
That's true. Yeah, Rolodex. Yeah. My card on the Rolodex is a little yellow and folded on the end, but I might be the only card in that Rolodex.
There you go. Well, Rene, we're gonna have you back to preview the LSU season opener in a couple of weeks, if you don't mind. and just tell us where LSU is. But thanks for joining us. Good luck this football season. Great to hear. Great talking to you.
Love you guys.
To you,
It's always
Renee.
my special pleasure to be with you guys. Love you both.
All right, Renee.
Take
Thanks
care,
so
man.
much. All right, let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone free. Download the Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Steve Geller. Listen when you want, how you want. Or tell your smart speaker, play WWL. Breaking news about the Saints, Pelicans, and LSU on WWL is powered by BetMGM. Smarter bets start with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app.
Yeah, Albert.
MGM.com today.
Doug, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sponsored.
Yeah, so Steve is in the studio if you want to do a handoff on the last segment.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Lunch was great. Magazine Street is such a fun spot.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
It looked like you have about a minute or so.
Okay.
Like issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating,
You got-
abdominal
you got,
pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Put them on.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be
You gotta,
a pancreas issue called
turn his mic on?
exocrine pancreatic
Well, no, yeah, he's in studio. He can turn his own.
Yeah,
mic
okay,
on.
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm looking at him.
Okay, right now. Gotcha.
Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always
So we
with
got
food.
about a minute?
Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects?
Yeah, let me do some mental math.
Yeah.
I'm looking at two different clocks.
800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
FanDuel, because nothing says summer fun like adding excitement to the game.
Yep, about a minute.
Okay.
Get back. That's enough time.
All right.
Summer sports are calling your name. Baseball under the stadium lights. Golf on pristine green fairways. Soccer matches with world-class goals. And all the action-packed moments in between. You were going to spend all day following your favorite sports on your phone anyway. Might as well make it more thrilling with FanDuel. Open the app today to see the daily promotions. New to FanDuel? New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/ABEAR to get started. 21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-7867.
Like to travel? People's Health members enjoy peace of mind knowing their health is covered. If you're away from home and need routine medical care, use the United Health Passport benefit from People's Health. You'll pay your usual copay for in-network care. No referrals necessary. And remember, you're always covered for emergency and urgent care worldwide. To learn more, call 1-855-821-2666. Plans are insured through United Healthcare Insurance Company or one of its affiliated companies, a Medicare Advantage organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in the plan depends on the plan's contract renewal with Medicare.
Bromart. We're keeping it cool, even in August. Bromart.
Bonvenue Bank, built to be here. Metairie, Mandeville, Gretna, and Baton Rouge.
Improve energy and confidence with testosterone replacement therapy at Game Day Men's Health.
Relief Windows, locally owned and operated. ReliefWindows.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
All right, we're back. Albert, 20 seconds. Any send off? A send off?
You know, y'all have a great week. Go Saints, and it's going to be fun watching the guys fight for position on the roster.
Absolutely. So we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Stay tuned for First Take with Steve Geller and Charlie Long from 11 to 1. Countdown to kickoff, 1 o'clock with Bobby Abear, Mike Tadillier. Game time at 3:05. So we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Take it away, Steve, and go Saints.
Thanks a lot, Albert. We are going to be getting you more NFL Saints action coming up right after the top of the hour news break. Caesars Sportsbook First Take, ready for football. Who Dats will be taking over right after this. Stay tuned on WWL Saints Radio. Who Dat?
Thanks, Coleman.